Welcome to the Utah Newborn Safe Haven EMS training module. These stories are some examples of infant abandonments before the Utah Newborn Safe Haven law existed. In 1951, Tiny Tim was left in a doctor's car parked at his residence in Ogden. Dr. Peterson said the tiny mite was so cold that it was 2 hours before it was warm enough to shiver, and 5 hours before the pink color returned to his body. In 1989, baby Amanda was left at Southern Utah State College in a restroom. The child was naked, and her body temperature was dangerously low when she was found. If they hadn't wandered into the restroom, she would have never made it through the weekend. In 2000, a dead newborn was found abandoned at the Fiesta Family Fun Center in St. George, Utah. The homeless woman was charged with first-degree felony murder along with abuse and desecration of a body for abandoning the baby's body.
I'm State Representative Patrice Arendt, and fortunately in Utah, the Newborn Safe Haven law, which I sponsored, exists to prevent tragic and unnecessary incidents like these. It is my privilege to provide you with information about our Newborn Safe Haven program, a statewide law and resource that saves newborns from injury or death by providing a safe place for a birth parent to anonymously give up custody of their newborn child at any hospital in Utah, no questions asked. You are in a unique and trusted position to inform individuals about this life-saving resource. Thank you for taking the time to learn about Utah Newborn Safe Haven and for being there for those who are often in the most need of support and guidance.
Please take a few minutes to watch these news stories involving newborn abandonment in Utah.
We begin tonight with a woman in jail accused of killing her 6 infants over a span of several years. News specialist Devin Dolan has been out in the Pleasant Grove neighborhood where the bodies were found, talking with neighbors. Devin, I can imagine the whole neighborhood is just really down on this one.
They really are, Keith, and neighbors tonight are in absolute shock. Megan Huntsman has been described as a good mother and a good wife. She lived in this home behind me here for more than a dozen years. Take a good look. There's nothing really out of the ordinary. Simply a family throwing away belongings they no longer need. A wooden sled, toppled pumpkins, a pair of old shoes, abandoned. And behind these curtains, an empty home with 7 short stories never told.
Had no idea this would ever come to this.
For 15 years, Kathy Hawker has welcomed 39-year-old Megan Huntsman into her very own home.
She was always a good babysitter because she babysat my grandchildren.
She lived next door to Kathy and her husband Aaron until she moved in 2011.
We never saw any evidence of pregnancies.
Saturday morning, Megan's ex-husband was seen cleaning the garage.
And he was upbeat and everything was good.
That same morning, police got a call.
They came across a suspicious box.
Inside the box,
Be an infant that was deceased in the box.
And 6 more small cardboard boxes were discovered by police, each with an even tinier body inside. A neighbor across the street who was too disturbed to go on camera watched through his surveillance video as police carried the lifeless infants out of the dark home.
I don't know how something like this can even happen, but it did.
Police believe Megan gave birth over a span of 10 years from 96 to 2006 and murdered each one. Her ex-husband wasn't involved. His family owns the home. They told me they're in a state of shock and confusion. As for those living next door,
Oh, I don't know why she would do it unless she was afraid.
they're mourning the loss of what's now missing, but was never known, just beyond these motionless blinds. And Megan has lived in West Valley for the last several years. Tonight, she's booked into the Utah County Jail for 6 counts of murder. Police are now waiting for DNA test results to determine who the father is. They believe it could be the ex-husband. For KSL 5 News, I'm Devin Dolan.
All right, Devin, thanks. A sad story tonight. Now, Utah has a law. It's called the Newborn Safe Haven Law. It went into effect in 2001. It allows birth parents to anonymously give up custody of their newborn child without facing any legal consequences. A newborn can be left at any Utah hospital, no questions asked. The Safe Haven Law is designed to give new mothers a safe alternative instead of jeopardizing the life of the infant.
A potential defendant and who they are always plays a significant role in the ultimate adjudication of that case.
No charges filed yet against the woman accused of putting her newborn baby into a neighbor's trash can. Tonight, Alicia Eglert sits behind bars, but her family says there's much more to the story. Eglert's father is defending his daughter and says she has special needs and doesn't fully understand what she did or what's happening right now. As for the baby, news specialist Devin Dolan's live at Primary Children's Hospital, where a custody battle could be on its way. Devin?
Well, the infant is still in state custody. She remains here at Primary Children's Hospital in critical condition. She's also set up to a ventilator. Now, the big question here tonight is, as this infant recovers, what happens to her next?
I'm like, oh my God, who would do something like this? I had no idea that it was my daughter.
Robert Englert talked to KSL from behind his front door. The pregnancy, he says, was unknown to the entire family.
She doesn't process things correctly. She didn't know what to do. She was confused. She's scared.
Robert says Alicia has special needs. He hasn't seen the infant since she was taken into state custody on Tuesday. He says it is too soon to know if the family will seek custody.
The focus is always to reunify the parents whenever safely possible.
Liz Solis with the Department of Child and Family Services could not talk to this case specifically, but says in all child custody battles, they first track down both parents. They then go through an evaluation. If the parents are deemed incompetent or decide to terminate parental rights, DCFS will look to other family members.
If we don't have other family who the child can go live safely with, whether it be temporarily or permanently, then we will look at other options, which are primarily foster care.
And while this child waits in state custody, there's another big issue. She's not bonding with a parent, and especially as young as she is, her brain is still forming. So experts say later on in life, she could possibly face some aggressive behavior, anxiety, and withdrawal. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, I'm Devin Dolan, KSL 5 News.
All right, Devin, thank you. Utah County family wants the state safe haven law to get more attention, especially after a Pleasant Grove woman is accused of killing 6 of her newborn children. News specialist Richard Pyatt introduces us to a 4-year-old boy who's an example of why the program exists.
4-year-old Spencer Horrocks races up and down the sidewalks in front of his house, and a sign that his family celebrates adoption. Brenda and Brad, his mom and dad, have celebrated that 4 times, ages 4 through 13. Spencer's case is a little different, though. He came to them from a birth mother who had tapped into Utah's safe haven law, which allows birth mothers to leave their children at a hospital, no questions asked.
I just hate to think what his life might have been like had she not placed him.
She wanted him to have a mom and a dad and a happy life, and it was a pretty neat thing to witness that love she had for him.
It's the life of a 4-year-old who is in a loving family. Spencer can concentrate on more important things like coloring and figuring out the kind of spell Harry Potter might put on a visiting news cameraman. It's clear from watching the Horrocks family that there's plenty of love to go around. The way things turned out, the safe haven law for this family was just another avenue toward adoption. But without it, Spencer's life might be very different.
I'm grateful for the safe haven law, and it gives these children a chance at life where otherwise they wouldn't have a chance.
So these babies that are placed this way through the safe haven law, they're loved.
In the face of the unspeakable alternative, a mother harming her own newborns, the Horrockses want to spread the word. Safe haven works. and a young smile proves it. Richard Pye at KSL 5 News, Eagle Mountain.
Infant abandonment history. In a federal act passed in 1988, the Abandoned Infant Act, abandoned babies are those born in hospitals but not discharged with their parents because of parental abuse, drugs, HIV, or other child protection issues. Infant abandonment history. Abandoned babies now have different meaning, and oftentimes these legal definitions can cause confusion. One important step toward protecting these infants is to ensure that law enforcement, emergency medical services, hospital staff, and the rest of the community in general are well informed about the safe haven laws, terminology, and measures aimed at prevention. Why are infants abandoned? Sometimes parents abandon or discard infants after birth. The reasons and circumstances are varied. Infants are generally abandoned by parents who are in duress or lack the ability to care for the infant. A lot of these pregnancies are not planned. During the years 2016 to 2018, 21.2% of women reported that their birth resulted from an unintended pregnancy. Some groups tend to have higher rates of unintended pregnancy. Unintended pregnancies rates per 1,000 women were highest among women age 18 to 24, low income, minority groups, had not completed high school, are those in partnerships but not married. What is the Utah Newborn Safe Haven Law? Also known as the Baby Drop-Off Law, this law allows a birth mother or any other person acting on her behalf to anonymously surrender a newborn, 30 days old or less, at any Utah hospital with 24/7 services. Visit www.utahsafehaven.org for additional information and a full list of participating hospitals and medical centers. Test your knowledge. In Utah, only a parent can relinquish a newborn at a hospital. True or false? False. In Utah, a parent or a person acting on the parent's behalf can surrender a newborn at a 24/7-hour hospital. In Utah, only hospitals open 24 hours a day are considered a safe haven.
I'm Mark Carrera with Mountain West Ambulance. Now that you have learned more about the Utah Safe Haven Law, do you know what to do if someone hands you a baby? In this section, we will review a few of the most common scenarios. Here are a few things to consider. What if you are not on active duty? What if the child is not a newborn? What if the baby shows signs of abuse or neglect? There are a lot of other scenarios that we won't be able to cover. Please visit utahsafehaven.org to learn more. In this scenario, what will you do if you are approached? Take the infant and worry about the details later. Transport the infant to the hospital for a wellness check, or make sure to follow your agency's protocols. In this scenario, what do you do if you find a baby in a remote location? This is an unsafe abandonment, not a safe haven baby. Please Please follow your agency's protocols on how to proceed. In this scenario, the mother delivers a baby and wants to give it up. This is a great opportunity to educate the mother about the safe haven law. In this scenario, always take the baby regardless of age. Make sure you follow standard EMS protocols on how to proceed. In this scenario, what to do if you are given the baby. Take the baby and find out if they want to use Safe Haven. Don't ask any other questions. Additional information. Do not hesitate to accept a newborn from anyone. If you are approached and are unable to accept the newborn, quickly find another EMS worker on duty who is able to take the newborn. If you are able to accept the newborn, assess the health of the newborn and the mother as soon as possible. Take the newborn to any hospital that has an emergency room. If you can, ask about the medical history of the baby. A person giving you the newborn may wish to provide medical information on the health of the infant or medical history of the parents. A medical history form can be found on the Utah Newborn Safe Haven website to use as an example. Think about the following questions. What people might ask. What happens to the baby when it is relinquished? Can I get information on if the baby is okay? Will the baby go to a safe and loving home? Am I in trouble if I give up my baby? Will anyone know that I gave up my baby? When you receive a baby, think about the following questions to ask the mother. Is there a health history of the baby or yourself you would like to share? Is giving up the baby your choice? Do you need protection? Do you need medical attention? Do you need help with resources, such as food, housing, mental health, etc.? What should I say in any scenario? Thank you. I will take care of this baby and make sure he or she is safe and cared for.
Be prepared to answer questions. Where can I safely leave my baby? Someone might not be ready to surrender a baby right away. The Safe Haven law allows a mother to surrender a baby approximately 30 days of age or younger. Hospitals are the only Safe Haven locations covered under the law. Tell the hospital staff that you want to give up your newborn under the Utah Safe Haven law. Do I have to take my baby to my local hospital? No. You can take your newborn to any hospital in Utah with an emergency room that operates 24/7. Do I have to take my baby, or can I ask someone else? You or anyone acting on your behalf can do it for you. Give the baby to hospital staff. They should be wearing their proper hospital identification or name badge. What will the people at the hospital ask me? No questions will be asked, but you can provide a medical history if willing. This could be helpful for your baby, so the adoptive parents are aware of any possible conditions the baby may have or may inherit. Will the hospital call the police? The police will not be called if you bring the baby to the hospital. At the hospital, the baby will be cared for and checked for any medical attention needed. What will happen to the baby after I leave? Once baby has been received, hospital staff will contact the Utah Division of Child and Family Services. They will place your baby into a safe and loving home that has prepared to adopt a baby. How long do I have to change my mind? If you change your mind, you will have to disclose your identity and contact the Utah Division of Child and Family Services. They can counsel you about your legal rights. Safe Haven Medical Questionnaire. You may ask the person relinquishing the baby if they want to provide any health information that may be important for the child to know in his or her future. It is not required by law for them to do so. Dear Mom, we are asking for your help by providing some health information that may be important for your child to know in his or her future. This information is important for your child's care and will be most helpful for the adoptive family. The information will be used only for this purpose. It will not be used to identify you or find you. Please provide as much information as you know. What is the baby's birth date? Was the baby premature? If yes, when was the approximate date you became pregnant? Were there any problems with the pregnancy or delivery? If yes, please describe. Did you smoke, use alcohol, drugs, or any medication during the pregnancy? If yes, please list them. Does the baby's mom have any medical conditions such as diabetes, asthma, allergies, seizures, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, mental illness, arthritis, eye problems, hearing impairment, other? Explain. Does the baby's father have any medical conditions such as diabetes, asthma, allergies, seizures, cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, mental illness, arthritis, eye problems, hearing impairment, other? Explain. What is the baby's mom's age, race, height, weight? What is the baby's father's age, race, height, weight? To your knowledge, are there any hereditary conditions that run in your family or the father's family? Please feel free to include a note to your baby or to the people who will adopt your child. You can use the back of this form. The Utah Newborn Safe Haven Law protects infants from injury and death, provides a safe place for newborns, allows secrecy and anonymity for any person dropping off a newborn. How can you help spread the Safe Haven message? Share the knowledge you've gained with your coworkers, friends, and family. Share information when interacting with the public if appropriate. Help distribute materials and links on where to get more information. After a health evaluation of the newborn, hospital staff will contact the Utah Division of Child and Family Services, DCFS. True or false? True. DCFS assumes custody of the newborn. then places the baby in foster care, and the adoption process is immediately started to place the newborn with a loving family. For more adoption information, visit utahsafehaven.org/adoption.
I love my parents. I love enjoying and spending time with every second with them.
Sam Peterson, now a teenager, a high school student, a lacrosse player.
It makes me so happy that I was given another chance.
As a baby, he was the first ever adopted in Utah under the state's safe haven law.
Sam is the joy of our lives. Sam is happy, he's kind, he is a hard worker.
Heather Peterson says the birth mother left Sam at a hospital, and with the safe haven law in place, in just days, she and husband Trevor were his adoptive parents.
Our biggest message is we want people to know that it worked.
Now, this bill, Newborn Safe Haven Amendments from Representative Patrice Arendt, is written for the upcoming session of the legislature. It would extend time for parents to give up their babies at hospitals from 3 days to within 30 days after the day on which the child is born. Heather thinks more time would be good for babies and parents.
I think it gives them the opportunity to come home and see what reality really is and find out if it's something, if they can take care of a child.
Thank you for taking the time to learn about Utah's newborn safe haven law. Armed with this knowledge, you can help a birth parent be better aware of their rights, and if they choose, they may safely and anonymously give up custody of their newborn child with no questions asked. Share this message and the resources. Do your part to prevent abandonment of newborns in Utah.